Hello, namaste, and welcome to Agile Exploration Hub. I'm your host Nagesh, and we are bringing another episode of Talks with Deshpande. We, as you know, we were trying a lot of different things. We're bringing a lot of different topics. So today we are bringing another such very interesting topic, which is gaining a lot of momentum in Agile industry right now. A lot of people are talking about mindfulness and emotional intelligence. So one of my favorite quote on mindfulness is mindfulness help you to touch the wonders of life for self-nourishment and healing. So what is mindfulness and emotional intelligence? We are going to go into the details through this episode. Before moving ahead, when we think about agile, we often focus on process, frameworks, tools, people, and frameworks like Kanban, Lean, and Scrum. Also, some people really focus on rituals. The Scrum has to be done like this, sprint planning has to be done like this, or retrospective, everyone should be talking and giving the answers of three favorite questions and all that. But are you really uh, checking the human, impact or human side of that? So where is the humanness or where is the mindfulness in Agile? So, how about we connect, emphasize, and respond to the challenge of or as individual within that team? It's possible. So, how it is possible? So, in today's fast-paced agile environment, where the continuous collaboration is a key, our ability to stay mindful and emotionally intelligent can be a secret ingredient that transform the team from simply good to a great team. In this episode, we will explore how mindfulness and emotional intelligence, two often overlooked soft skills, that actually powerful to drive or powerful drivers on high performing agile teams. So, again, going back to this entire topic, we were doing a lot of reading and research, and so one prominent name came in front of me, and I thought of inviting him as a speaker to my podcast. So let's welcome Jaspal Saran. So welcome, Jaspal.
Nagesh. Namaste.
Namaste. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing good, and thank you for having me today on your podcast. I'm really delighted to share my thoughts with you and the audience, obviously.
Yes. So for our audience, you know, Jaspal and we connected through few mutual friends, and then we shared the thought, and we immediately, liked the thought of having a podcast together. So Jaspal is an agile professional, over 24 years of experience in IT, specialized in agile transformation using frameworks like Scrum, Kanban, Safe. So what I specifically liked about Jaspal when we met over the tea, so he immediately invited me for a tea, and what I liked about is the amount of reading he does. He reads a lot of things, a different, his genre is wide. He's not only reading the technical stuff, he's reading a lot of stuff which is help you to improve your soft skills, uh, like emotional intelligence, mindfulness. So that's where we come together and said that let's do an episode. I want to do this episode with you, Jaspal, at any cost. So that's why we are here, we are discussing today. And so please watch this entire episode, share with your friends. So to my audience, this will be our 24th episode, and next episode will be a big one, which is the 25th episode. We are keeping it giving you a small bits of it, that this is going to be a big episode as a 25th episode. So if you are enjoying this video so far, I'll request you to hit the like button, subscribe my channel, and share it with your friends. So let's go and focus back on Jaspal. So Jaspal, um, just just let our audience know, your views, or how you pursue, how you looked at mindfulness, and why it is important for agile teams.
Okay, Nagesh, thanks once again. That's topic very close to my heart: business agility, and obviously mindfulness and emotional intelligence. I've always been an advocate of people, culture of any given place. Okay, so all right, let me take a pause. First and foremost, let's look at basic definitions of mindfulness and emotional intelligence, or EI, as people
EI.
call it.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and of course, many people use these terms interchangeably. So I wanted to just clear some air here. So mindfulness is our ability to be aware of the present moment, or rather,
Right.
just to be aware of your emotions, of your thoughts, being there in the very moment, noticing, could be noticing your surroundings, noticing what you're doing, noticing your thoughts, and most importantly, being non judgmental. Of
Hmm.
course, all of this is a little challenging given the fact that we are always on and always hooked on to some or the other distraction. Yeah. But of course,
True.
we'll talk about all this, and let me now put forward something about emotional intelligence, EI. I'll refer to it as EI more frequently. So, EI is our ability to recognize, understand, manage, and
Hmm.
influence emotions, not
Okay.
in ourselves alone, but others as well. And as you rightly mentioned, these are two soft skills which are extremely important, extremely significant, but more often they are overlooked.
Overlooked. Yes.
And they are very, very key components for effective communication, relationships, whether they're personal, professional, whatever. And last but not the least, success. Again, personal level, professional level, whatever. So these two key cornerstones, I typically call them as, for any human rather, or
Right.
any culture of any place. Yeah, and these are very, very basic definitions. And as you had called out very kindly in my introduction, I'm a trained mindfulness teacher, and I picked it out of interest. I had attended a mindfulness session way back in 2018. I was so
Hmm.
engrossed in that session, I immediately signed up for trainings, and then I graduated into being a mindfulness champion myself. Now, coming back and talking a little bit about mindfulness and emotional intelligence, like I said, these are very powerful tools, and they significantly influence the dynamics and success of any team. When I say any team, be it agile, non agile, whatever, the moment you say I am human, you have to accept the fact that mindfulness and AI are going to contribute to your success, to your way of living, and so forth. And together, they create a foundation for, like I said, improved collaboration, communication, adaptability, and so forth. And Nagesh, you would agree, these are critical elements of any agile culture. Yeah,
Absolutely. I was about to ask you, these are like, or about to say that when you say collaboration, it's a, it's a like a pillar, one of the, founding stone or the pillar of an agile team. If there is no collaboration, you are not agile.
absolutely, absolutely. I would like to go a step deeper and tell you how these elements really contribute to any agile team's performance, or any organization's culture or way of working, and so forth. So, first thing that comes to my mind is obviously mindfulness and AI. They enhance collaboration and communication.
Hmm.
Nagesh, you would agree, right? Agile teams rely day in, day out on communication and
Absolutely.
collaboration,
Absolutely.
without without doubt.
Right, absolutely. And that's how we, as a Scrum Master, or even as Agile professional, we were told, or we were coached, or we were, teached in the classes that that's the key. Communication. If you want to do something, the communication is the one thing that you have to practice. Collaboration is one thing that to practice. So there is
Absolutely.
no, what I'm not getting the word. There is no excuse if you are missing it. Right. So you're absolutely right. I totally agree with you on this one.
And now, talking about mindfulness, how does it help in collaboration and communication? Let me tell you.
Hmm.
it if practiced, it helps team members to remain fully present during
Right.
meetings, interactions, reducing distractions, of course. You would agree, Nagesh. Sorry, I'm using this term a lot. You would agree.
No, as
It's not like I want to sell these topics, but
Hmm.
it's like invoking that human element again in you, like to uh, concur with what is being said and what I'm trying to talk about here. Yeah.
Right.
So
Hmm.
so I beg your pardon if I repeat
No, no, no,
again,
no, no,
but
absolutely. Go on. Yeah, yeah, go on.
yeah. So when we talk about uh, when we talk about say delivering value or delivering outcomes,
Hmm.
or when we talk about outcomes in general, tell me what comes to your mind.
So, the example that I always give is about, having a daily scrum.
Hmm,
You know. So I'm directly jumping into the agile world, but so doing a daily scrum or facilitating as a daily scrum as a scrum master
hmm,
is one thing,
hmm,
right? So you're doing it as if it is a tick box. But when
hmm,
you are
hmm.
mindful in this practice, then
Yes,
you will pick up the small, you know, gaps. You will pick up the small
yes,
details in this communication. What is
yes,
my team member is trying to say?
yes,
You know,
yes.
is
So
there any, is there any gap? Is there any hidden message? Is he
e-
struggling?
exactly,
You know, i-
exactly.
is
So
this person need help?
yes, absolutely, bang on, bang on. So again, if you look at mindfulness, I already called it out. It lets you remain fully present.
Fully
It
present.
helps you reduce distractions. And very interestingly, Nagesh, our mind, we in the mindfulness world, we refer to it as monkey mind, okay? Because it
Okay.
keeps jumping from the past to the future and it's hardly present, right? So we lovingly call our mind as monkey mind, okay?
Monkey mind. Okay.
Yeah. So because it's jumping from place to place, right? So when you're mindful, it allows you and your team to focus on the current conversation, as you said, be it daily scrum, be it retrospective, be it sprint planning, or you are trying to resolve a conflict, for example. Yeah.
Conflict. Yeah.
And with mindfulness, you're trying to ensure the discussions remain productive, they remain on track, and so forth. Now, you also touched upon a very interesting thing, Nagesh. That is reading some of your team members' thoughts and emotions. When you actually told this, you were actually touching upon the EI part of things, because EI allows your team members to read emotional cues, understand the feelings of others, and respond empathetically. So, how EI enables the team to communicate more effectively, navigate disagreements with respect, maintain open lines of communication, even if the stress levels are high or could be high. That's how I see it as, how EI is typically helping your team. Uh, anything that you would like to call out or discuss on these two at this moment?
No, no, that's pretty much we covered. Good part of discussion on this. We can go on to the next topic. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
then of course,
mm,
uh, I I specifically love the five tenets or five attributes every team member must have, and which is called out by Scrum framework. So these five traits are openness, courage, respect. Can you name the other two?
focus, focus,
Focus.
and
Yes.
respect.
Yeah.
So you
Respect.
already
I covered respect. So it is
respect,
respect, openness, courage, focus, commitment.
commitment.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And if these do not remain there, what is broken in the team? Trust is broken,
Trust is broken.
right? You're not able to deliver value, for example, correct?
Correct.
And obviously, when you say we want to build trust, there is something that comes to my mind always. It is psychological safety. So if trust is at the heart of high performing agile teams. Both mindfulness and EI contribute to creating an environment where trust can flourish, where all these five key attributes in any team member they automatically are surfacing out, and they are well recognized, and they are coming together, obviously, to deliver value, promote each other's well-being, and so forth. So that's about
Very nice.
you know uh, building trust and psychological safety. So mindfulness and EI, without doubt, they promote these two spaces as well. That is the trust space and the psychological safety space. Something that
Right.
again comes to my mind is adaptability and resilience. So when we talk about adaptability and resilience, these are two very key things again. Uh, Probably I should I use the word expected, but yeah, let me use it. Expected from teams, right?
Teams.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so mindfulness teaches team members to approach change with openness by staying present, staying focused on the current situation, rather than just giving it up, sticking to frustrations or worries, and so forth. And like EI, obviously, I've called a few times already. It helps read people's emotions. It helps team members support each other, and you know pivot through challenging situations. So yeah, Nagesh, that's pretty much what I
Very.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Very nice.
cover for this this question, very close to my heart. But I think
No, no, no. You covered a lot of things here. So let's move on to the next topic. So now we already discussed about pretty much discussed about two things so far. One is the how mindfulness and EI influence the dynamics of agile team. Then how even we saw a little part of how it improved the collaboration in your team, as we discussed. Now now we discussed about teams, but there are two or one specific individual who is more interested, and most of my viewers are Scrum Masters or Agile coaches. So now, and we also brought a topic about having conflict between the teams. Now, how this mindfulness or EI will help Scrum Masters, Agile coaches to resolve these conflicts?
mm, that's an interesting question actually, because conflicts. Uh, I think we all should have conflict as our middle names, because
Hmm.
conflicts is almost at every corner of what we do. Uh, Sometimes it's almost daily, sometimes every sprint, sometimes probably if not daily, every sprint. Definitely, it's in between. Yeah. So, in my experience, Scrum Masters and Agile coaches can certainly leverage mindfulness as a powerful tool to manage conflicts. So, if you look at uh, something that we already touched upon in the initial conversation that we had, when we practice being present, being there in the moment without being distracted, or without having personal biases or emotions, what happens is you are actually staying there in the moment, focusing on understanding the root cause or root causes of the conflict rather than just jumping to conclusions or trying to immediately fix the situation. The
Yes,
fix
yes.
could be temporary, the fix could be catastrophic, by the way. It can
Agree.
temporarily fix something but blow up many other things. So, in my opinion, whenever a disagreement occurs, say for example, there's a sprint planning session going on, a mindful scrum master will always notice emotional cues, frustration or tension erupting when a story is discussed, or when a developer's point of view is unheard, or when the product owner is simply trying to push through the gas and say, okay, I want this no matter what. So in this case, what the scrum master is doing is he or she is calmly observing what's happening and then beautifully guiding the conversation. without getting emotionally caught up themselves.
Right.
So this is how I see first and foremost usage of mindfulness in resolving any conflict arising. So it's like being calm, being composed in your approach, being centered in your approach, trying to prevent escalations, creating a space for each team member to express their views and perspectives. Obviously, making sure nobody's feeling rushed or judged and so forth. Second thing that comes to my mind during any given conflict is, of course, you want the conflict to be resolved. So you'd like to use mindful listening. So when
Hmm.
I call this as mindful listening, it means you are shutting down the chatter. You're taming your monkey mind. It's not jumping to the past, or it's not anticipating the future, or it's not running around with certain biases or perspectives, right? So what are you doing is you're trying to stay in that particular conversation. You're paying full attention. You're not interrupting. You're not thinking about responses or making assumptions, right? So Scrum Masters and Agile coaches can certainly use this technique to ensure that all team members they are heard, which I think is a key to conflict resolution. And then on top of it, you may want to use tools like fishbone diagram to find the root cause, arriving at a conclusion, solution, whatever you call it, and moving forward. Third thing that comes to my mind, which I want to call out for each Scrum Master and Agile coach out there, is being aware, non judgmental. So when I say that, mindfulness teaches us being non judgmentally aware, okay, where we observe thoughts, emotions, and actions without really labeling them as good or bad. I
Agree.
know it
Yes.
is, I know it is easier said than done, but in my view, I've used this a lot, by the way, since the time I picked up mindfulness, and I'll vouch for its success. I'll vouch for the fact that it has worked in my case. And wherever I have seen other mindfulness practitioners bringing this into play, I confidently can tell you, Nagesh, it has worked for us. So, Scrum Masters and Agile coaches, they can use this approach to avoid taking sides or reacting impulsively, obviously ensuring that they maintain an impartial, neutral space during conflicts. Yeah?
Great, great. I want to add something here. And this is a
Yes,
tip.
please.
Yeah, this is a tip for all the new or even experienced Scrum Masters and Agile coaches. Keep in mind, don't make every disagreement as a conflict.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
mindfulness you should have there. Okay,
Absolutely.
so Jaspal added few words. I will pick up those keywords. Listening, judgment, judging. So if you are listening
Listening.
carefully, if you're listening carefully, disagreement will remain disagreement. If you are mindful, you will be able to understand whether this is a disagreement or a conflict. Okay. And if you are emotionally present in that situation, your intelligence will say that, oh, this is not a conflict. This is just a disagreement where some person unable to defend or, you know, or trying to find the ground. So don't make every disagreement conflict. That's what I wanted to conclude here. So your views, Jaspan.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And obviously, uh, let me tell you a fact. All the progress around that you see has been made because of some or the other conflict.
Absolutely.
Trust me, trust me.
Yes.
But people took it in the positive way. It's not
Mm.
for destruction, but for creation, for construction. So if you take it that way, any progress that you see around which was sparked out of a conflict, it has made life better for all of us around. So, uh, I would relate that with what you call, Nagesh, like disagreement. So the moment you disagree, you should not take it in a negative way, or you should not
Right.
label it as, oh, this is bad and this cannot be done, and your ego coming in and playing all sorts of downplays where that disagreement sparks into a fight or a major conflict, and instead of your team moving into making progress, you digress into something else and things blow up, sometimes to a proportion where you end into a zone which is no man's land.
which is beyond control.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Another thing, Nagesh, I wanted to call out was for the Scrum Masters and Agile coaches, like, you can guide your teams to reflect
Hmm.
before reacting, right? So we've always been hearing and we've been talking about being reactive, proactive, and so forth. But how many of us follow that?
Hmm.
Hardly. So the best of leaders, if you can close your eyes and watch any leader sitting in a team meeting or resolving a conflict, you'll find this person extremely quiet and just observing what's going on.
Hmm.
So the best of the leaders, they don't react, and they are actually observing, they are actually reflecting, and then they are coming up with what is the best thing where
Right.
everyone can thrive.
So I'll take you, me, everyone, this audience to our childhood. Our elderly used to tell us, count 1 to 100 in such situations. Why? What was the need of counting? That was the need. That was the purpose of counting 0 to 100 in tough situations, to bring you to the present moment, to get rid of that sudden emotion, burst of emotion out of the window, and bringing right emotions, and like you say, that right reflection of your thought. Is it really necessary to say something like this in this meeting, or should I put it like this? What if I use this word? What if I don't use this word? This 1 to 100 will give that opportunity to bring it back to that situation and talk something which is, which will make a lot of sense, rather than going into burst of emotions and making more damage to current situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, uh, you have hit the nail on its head. So in mindfulness, we call this as pair
Yeah.
practice, PEAR. So
Yeah.
which is pause, examine, acknowledge, respond.
Response.
So it's pause, examine, acknowledge, respond. So, you know, when you practice mindfulness, you're actually slowing down.
Yeah.
You're actually becoming thoughtful. You're not bursting just to react or just to prove your point. But you're like taking perspectives. So we call this as creating a reflective pause, which I believe every Scrum Master and Agile coach must promote first in themselves and then within the teams. It helps, this pausing helps prevent knee-jerk reactions. It promotes thoughtful responses, leads to healthier, more productive discussions. And like you said, Nagesh, disagreements, talk about it,
Right.
go around it,
Hmm.
make it constructive, and it can be a point where this particular disagreement may lead your team to a wonderful destination. Who knows? No.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Yeah. So, to audience, we just discussed, and Jaspal help us to give some tools also, like pair, and then counting. I mentioned about counting 1 to 100. This simple tips, techniques, will help you, or simple practices. But we need more simple practices, Jaspal, for agile professional to adopt, to build emotional intelligence. More. Can you give us like 2 to 3 more simple practices that we can follow?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, uh, the first and foremost thing that comes to my mind is follow your breath. Be very mindful about your breathing.
Breathing, yes.
So when you are breathing, think about your breath, feel it, experience it, find it. Don't take breath for granted, my dear friends. It's the only source of life for all of us. Yeah. And if we are not mindful of breathing, sorry to say, we are not mindful of anything at all. So that's one simple practice, Nagesh, I wanted to share. with everyone. Follow your breath. Just sit, close your eyes, find your breath. It'll help you ground
Hmm.
yourself. It'll help you inhale goodness, exhale negativity, etc. Yeah. The second thing I wanted to call out was have some emotional check-ins. Regularly check in your emotions. If you're feeling angry, frustrated, stressed, just write it down on paper. Forget it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And
Hmm.
a simple question you can ask yourself is, "Oh, how am I feeling right now?" Identify and name that emotion. I'm stressed. I'm excited. I'm happy. Frustrated. And train your brain to move from those words, frustration and stress and everything, to the positive side.
Hmm. Hmm.
Trust me, it helps. It helps because worrying is a rocking horse, as they say. It takes you nowhere. Why worry? Use your time to come up with solutions rather than just sitting there and worrying. It won't help. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Another thing that I regularly do is journaling.
Hmm.
If you can see, I hope you can see, there's a little notepad I'm sharing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
see?
No, not now. Yeah, yeah, I can see now. Yes, yes. Yeah. Go a little back, little back. Towards you, towards you. Yeah. Yes, now it's visible. Yeah. So to our audience, this is kind of notebook that Jaspal always maintain. I have seen it personally. It's very interesting. Yeah.
So what I do is, this is a very pocket-sized notepad I have, and the moment something comes to my mind, I write it down.
Hmm.
And if I have to expand, I have a bigger notebook at home where I write a story. And
Hmm.
just to call out, I write a lot on LinkedIn. I write about agile, I write about leadership, many other things, and
Hmm.
my childhood stories, reflections, and whatnot. So coming back to the point, journaling is something which you must try. It
Absolutely.
helps calm down your emotions. It lets your thoughts flow onto paper. It helps you become a better person in terms of reflecting. So you can reflect on experiences, behaviors of self, of others, and you know go back, do some deeper self-reflection, probably reading it for personal growth, better emotional management, and so forth. Yeah.
Right. Right.
And gratitude practice comes to my mind always. Like
Very
I
important.
said,
Very important.
like I said, we take our breath for granted. Don't do that. The breath is the only important thing that you have. Be very mindful. Yeah. Shallow breathing, you're calling in diseases. Deep breathing, you're bringing in rejuvenation in your body. You're bringing in all goodness in your body. Trust me, practice it, follow it, you'll have goodness around. We
Absolutely.
all talk about challenges, we all talk about this issue and that issue, but have we pondered upon the thought that who's going to help us? It's us.
Absolutely.
Simple as that. Yeah.
Yes.
One
Absolutely.
important point that comes to my mind, Nagesh, while I'm talking to you about this is the VUCA world or the RUPT world where you're living in, it's not going to go away. It's probably going to get even more crazy,
True.
even more VUCA.
Right.
So VUCA is nothing but volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, right?
True. Yeah.
So practicing mindfulness and EI not only promotes goodness in your agile teams, it promotes goodness around you, within you, and trust me, it helps you navigate your way through the world we are living in. And I'm telling you based on experience. I'm telling you, you can yourself go and check multiple websites. People have done research. So this is a science backed practice that I'm talking about, both
Yeah.
EI and
Absolutely. Yeah.
mindfulness. Yeah.
Yeah. So you wisely mentioned about journaling. So uh, I attended one seminar, which was a 2 day seminar, and this is for my audience. So when it was introduced to me by my wife, this seminar for 2 days, and initially I thought it will be religious or spiritual or something kind of it, and then I was not very inclined towards it, but you know to to respect her view, I joined that. So it was out of Pune, so we traveled there, and then and towards the end of this seminar, I realized that it is backed by a lot of science. You know,
Yes.
okay, there was nothing spiritual, or they didn't told us, you have to pray this God, or you have to do this kind of prayer morning and evening. No, the lot of science around, and one of the uh, key was journaling your emotions. So they gave us a chart. Okay, and the chart was exactly what you just mentioned. No, the chart was a monthly calendar with hourly, or they distributed it in 4 hours, into six 24 hours, uh, and they asked everyone to just, you know among these 4 5 emotions, which are the emotions you were going through in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. And they asked us to create a calendar for entire month. Okay. So a person like me, if I haven't done this exercise till the age of, whatever today is my, like, 40 45 year old, till age of 40, and at the age of 41 he is doing it, he suddenly gets instant outcome or output in front of himself, that, oh, most of my day I am stressed, most of my stress, I'm sad, I'm panicked, hmm, I'm disturbed, I'm frustrated. This gives you, so this data, and as a agile practitioner, as a IT professional, we believe, or we trust on data. If we see the data, then we will act on it, and we say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And something which is, we say, often say, if you can measure it, you can manage it. So if I know that out of 24 hour which I'm taking, let's say 16 hour I am awake, my body is awake, my mind is awake, 8 hours I'm sleeping, out of 16 hours, if I'm 10 hours I'm stressed, now I measured it. So how can I bring it? I can bring it down to 9 hours, 8 hours, and then slowly. I cannot go from 10 to 0 on day one itself. It will gradually come down, right? So these kind of practices, journaling will absolutely help you. Another thing that I would like to highlight here is, uh, if you really sit down and start writing your thought patterns, you need lot of, patience, or you need lot of time to think. There itself, you brought it back yourself to one good position from, from a difficult conflicting mind or thinking pattern, because then you are concentrating on how I'm going to write down my thoughts right now. I need a right set of words. I need to construct this sentence in correct way so it can be read and refer in future. So there itself, your, mindfulness coming into your um, actions,
Yeah.
not fully, but at some extent. Great discussion.
I would say it comes into play almost throughout, Nagesh.
Hmm.
I mean, when you're having tea, for example, or coffee, whatever
Hmm.
your preference, yeah, you should have the tea or coffee. You should enjoy every sip.
Exactly.
You should really live that taste, that aroma. You should actually think about the farmer or the tea plantation worker who helped you make this cup of tea or coffee, or the
Right.
coffee beans, from wherever they came, the coffee beans. Literally thanking those people or thinking about it. Trust me, even if you start practicing these little things, it'll bring a change in you. I
Hmm.
mean, how many of us have tea, coffee, breakfast, lunch, dinner solely being there? We are always caught up in thoughts.
Exactly.
We are always caught up in thoughts. So, you're looking at your mobile phone, or perhaps doing something,
Yeah, absolutely.
which you
Oh, watching
proudly
TV.
tag, yeah, which you proudly tag as multitasking.
Multitasking.
By the way, multitasking is a
Mm.
myth. That's
Myth.
another topic for another day. I can spend hours on that topic. uh, Coming back, the simple practices which you asked me. So another couple of practices I would like to suggest is do a body scan
Hmm.
when you sleep, rather not sleep, when you lie down to sleep. Just mentally scan your body from head to toe.
Hmm.
Just close your eyes. Imagine there's a beam of light moving from your head to your toe, and that beam of light touching each body organ. Notice any areas of tension, any area of pleasure, discomfort, comfort, whatever. Just notice. Let that beam of light follow through, from your head to toe. And trust me, you'll get good sleep. People complain, oh, I cannot sleep, etc., etc. Follow this practice. And by the way, you can do it at work, at home, even
Yeah,
during
true,
daytime. Okay,
true.
it helps you relax. It helps you, uh, notice any areas of tension, notice any areas of pleasure. It gives you immense physical and mental relaxation. Reduces stress. It helps you maintain focus. By the way, Nagesh, I wanted to give one thought to the audience. Please do not take sleep for granted, okay?
Hmm.
Because sleep is extremely important and it helps you being mindful the next day. It helps you with your EI far, far better than a person who's tired, who's deprived of sleep. Okay? There's a very beautiful saying in our mindfulness community. It says, a good night's sleep begins the moment you wake up.
Hmm. That's interesting. Very interesting.
I'll repeat, a good night's sleep begins the moment you wake up. So, simply interpreting it, it means how you spend your day decides your night. I mean, decides your sleep, right? And how you sleep decides your next day. As
Yeah,
simple as that.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one little tip I wanted to share with you all.
Good.
Body scan, being there, scanning your body, just relaxing. And thank your organs. Come on, they have helped you. Thank them, let them sleep, let your body recover.
Let them rest also. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
do a lot of compassionate self-talk also, right?
Yeah.
Even if they are during moments of stress, when
Hmm.
things don't go as planned, go ahead, pat your back. Okay, fine, Nagesh, this is one tough time, but let me congratulate you for
Yeah.
those
Hmm.
9 great times.
Right, right, right.
And
I did.
just
Yeah.
remind yourself it's okay. I did my best under all circumstances. So replace it with, oh, I should have done better. I'm not good. I need to improve, blah, blah, blah. Remove that negative talk with compassionate self talk, right? And please promote this as Scrum Masters and Agile coaches within your Agile teams.
Right.
You see someone struggling, don't look at their outcomes. Come on, go behind the why. Why is this person not able to deliver? Let me find out.
Right.
Let me talk to this person. Why? Go there, talk to this person, have some mindful team check-ins. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I think these are the tips,
Now that
Nagesh.
there are plenty of tips. Yeah. So before moving on to our next topic, um, audience, if you really like enjoying this discussion, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Yes, Jaspal, let's move on to the next topic. So, moving ahead, uh, you just mentioned, talk to your team member, and then so here we are talking about the individual, but now the entire team, and we have a goal, right? Team goal everywhere. So if there's a football match, if there is a scrum team, they have to work on a goal. Hmm. So how this EI will help the team as well as individuals, you know, to achieve or to balance or to achieve that goal.
Okay, so I'll again mix a bit of mindfulness and EI here, because to me, I always try to uh, create a good combination of both mindfulness and EI. Talking specifically of EI, it actually plays a pivotal role in balancing team goals and against or was with individual needs in agile environments. So if you look at collaboration, for example, agile relies on collaboration. We all would
Right.
agree. Success is not just measured by achieving a single person's success, but it's typically how that entire team has performed, right?
Right.
So when you look at success, or when you look at the team achieving something, you're actually looking at how well the team was motivated, what did they do, what values did they bring to the table, how did they support each other, and what ultimately led to this team's victory. So
True.
if you look at all this, you can easily come to know the team has supported each other at emotional level.
Mm.
So understanding individual motivations and emotions, very important. You cannot just say my way is highway, or you just cannot have egos coming to play. So when we talk about EI here, when we say individual motivations and emotions, self awareness and social awareness, these are the key components we have to think about. So, like I said, Scrum Master recognizes that a team member is feeling unchallenged. So, for example, take football. Somebody
Mm.
who's a good center forward, if you change that person's position, no longer would be able to play well in that other position,
Right.
right? If you suddenly bring up a set of bowlers to open a cricket match, you will have wickets falling in right in the first over, correct?
Right.
So it's very important for scrum masters, agile coaches, to recognize such situations, and then they help navigate this person to pick the right task, or help others to let this person take up something they might be doing, where this person's strengths and personal goals can be achieved, right? It could be learning a new technology, or it could be this person already knows that technology but haven't got that opportunity to utilize it. So why not let this person go ahead, prove his mettle in that
Mm.
space? So this is where a scrum master can, or an agile coach can, uh, use EI, look at the emotional cues, and come up with a plan. So that's number one. Number two is like, fostering open communication and psychological safety. Again, we spoke about it quite a bit. So with EI, you can help create a psychologically safe place where individuals feel comfortable, they can express their needs, concerns without fear of judgment. And when we say without fear of judgment or being reprimanded, etc., this
Mm.
is where mindfulness comes into play,
Absolutely. Yes.
because mindfulness tells you to be non judgmental. It says notice, it says be present, it says be aware,
Mm.
right?
Right. Right.
And then this openness obviously allows for a balance between personal aspirations, demands of the project, or the team, the football team, cricketing team, whatever. And team members, they feel heard, supported, needless to mention, they perform well, right?
Right. Right.
And then
Absolutely.
obviously building empathy within the team. Empathy is very, very important. It's like feeling that person's pain. Of course, you should not get into a zone where you start feeling em- empathy fatigue.
Right.
You don't have to take it to a level where you start feeling stressed. No, stop. So that's where again I would call out, use the pair exercise.
Fair exercise. Yes.
Pause,
Your own
reflect.
mindfulness will also should be
Yes,
invoked at that time. If you are not
absolutely.
mindful enough to identify
Yes,
that you are in the fatigue zone,
yes,
then that's a problem. So,
exactly. And then obviously there are many other things. EI can help you uh, regulate your emotions, can help facilitate conflict resolution, tailor feedback to support growth of your team, creating a motivating and inclusive environment.
yes,
So
that's
many other
true.
things, so many other things. And
Inclusivity,
obviously,
that's
yeah,
an interesting topic.
absolutely, absolutely. And then obviously, EI helps you manage stress, preventing burnout.
Mm,
Yeah, so these are quite a few
mm,
areas, Nagesh, where EI can
mm,
help us.
yeah. So, you brought a topic about burnout. One of our speaker, Vikas, he talks about a lot about burnout. So, uh, uh, I will put his YouTube channel link in the description box. So those who are watching, follow Vikas. Uh, uh, like I make videos, long duration videos. Vikas makes small videos, and he talks about the burnouts and the, how to avoid them and small tips and all that. So he's also a good speaker, so you can follow his work. So it's very important to identify if you are really facing that. So yeah, that's pretty much. So let's move on. Jaspal, now we talked about individuals, teams, and then we talked about Scrum Masters, we talked about Agile coaches. Now let's talk about leader. Okay. As a, you know, mindfulness coach, and what advices you will give to leaders, aiming to foster this emotional intelligence in their teams. So as a Scrum Master, I may be working with one team, but as a leader, I may be working with the entire organization. So some of the tips or some of the advices that you would like to share to the leaders.
Sure. So, leadership is the cornerstone of any organization. Right? So, my call to leaders, specifically agile leaders, would be they must aim to foster EI and mindfulness within their teams, where people, rather their teams, practice empathy, self-awareness, collaboration to a level where outcomes are aimed to actual value delivery for business. And obviously, when these things are followed, a culture is automatically established in the place.
Right.
There's a very beautiful video I want to call out. It is by the late Professor Sumantra Ghoshal.
Hmm.
The video is called "Smell of the Place." So in that, he, rather Professor Ghoshal, has so beautifully provided a story, a personal story from his life in Calcutta, and how he has linked that part of Calcutta to an organization's cultural side of things. I mean, it's
Hmm.
beautiful. Audience, I highly recommend you should watch that video. I can provide that link and maybe we can
Yeah.
add it in comments later.
Yeah, we'll add it in the comments.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's like leaders must nurture workplaces, not merely to promote net promoter scores and other numbers. They must strive to create a smell of the place so that people work with a sense of belonging and ownership. Yeah. So number one advice or maybe a tip to foster EI in their teams, and this is for all agile leaders, is like model emotional intelligence as a leader. So you start reflecting the behavior and attitude, wherein you demonstrate EI, you set the tone for how emotions are managed, how relationships are handled within the team. Be self aware, transparent about your own emotions, handle stress with composure, demonstrate empathy, like I said a few times already,
Hmm.
in your interactions, actively listen to your teams. So these are some things which the leaders can start practicing, where they can actually model a behavior or attitude which is promoted by EI. Yeah, and then cultivate self-awareness, foster empathy and understanding, encourage open communication, build trust and psychological safety, right, within your teams. Uh,
Very important point. Building
Absolutely,
psychological safety. Yes, yes. Yeah.
that fear of
Fortunately,
failure.
unfortunately, we all work in uh, worked. I will say. I will not say work. In worked in past at such places where leadership couldn't take the questions.
So
Hmm.
we have to work without fear of
Without
judgment
fear.
or
Yeah.
punishment.
Punishment.
So fine. I mean, failures are lessons if you look at it.
If you look at it, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Hmm.
and then obviously develop conflict resolution skills. A leader must have solid conflict resolution skills, in my opinion. We should not go for I win, you lose, or you win, I lose, that kind of mentality.
Mhm.
No, it has to be win-win. It has to be you give away something, I give away something, and we arrive at win-win.
Absolutely. Great.
So, and then obviously, any leader must promote emotional regulation. Called it out again earlier. Obviously, get EI into your meetings, your events or ceremonies, be it retrospectives, be it sprint planning, be it daily scrum, whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah. Last but not the least, that something comes to my mind is they must provide regular feedback and support in a very, very mindful way, keeping empathy in their pockets always and using it every now and then just to make sure your colleagues, your team members, they feel supported and they do their best.
Right.
I am often reminded of a quote. It says, when a person is appreciated, when a person is supported, that person does more than expected.
Absolutely true. Absolutely.
So, and last but not the least, any leader must look forward to invest in EI training or getting in some mindfulness training for their teams, having some apps or tools like Headspace and a few other apps that are available in the market. Calm is one of them. Headspace is a very popular app, so they can bring those kind of goodies to their teams.
Right.
So yeah, Nagesh, these are a few things I would like to call out for the leaders. Yeah,
Jaspal, it was great discussion. Absolutely. I enjoyed all the points that we discussed and absolutely going to help me, shaping up my career from here. So once
I'm
again,
I'm I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I was under that impression. Probably you might feel that your topic is a bit philosophical or
no,
cutting,
no,
but I'm
no.
glad
See,
you liked it.
see, absolutely. So this is again to all the viewers, Scrum Masters, Agile coaches. Uh, the topics, the points that we discussed today is very essential um, part of our jobs. You know. You might have seen many incidents recently, news, where a person died due to stress at work. They committed suicide,
Yes,
or
very
there is a
unfortunate.
generic, yeah, there is generic emotion. I want to leave IT, and okay. So uh, my question to such people is: do you really spend your, or you really did the hard work in studying, going to a good college, going to getting an engineering degree from good college, put 4.5 years of struggle or efforts, and then go getting an IT job, and then you are saying after some period that I want to get out of the IT. It's good. I'm not saying it's not a bad option to go out of IT and do something what you will enjoy. But the point here is the point that I'm trying to make is you can find a or you can invoke the mindfulness to enjoy what you are doing right now. You do
Yes,
not have to. So there is a phrase. Once again, there is a popular um, phrase. Say bhag lo ya bhag lo. Right? What does it mean? So if you are in a situation, you jump into it or run away. So what you will prefer? Yeah. Right? If you jump into it, then you will be able to solve it. If you run away from it, the situation will become worst. So uh, let's pause here, reflect what we have been discussed, what we have been discussing, and let's see from where we can go. Yeah. So let's take a pause in this episode. We'll bring another episode. If you want another episode, put it in a comment, tag Jaspal, you know, show um, you know, um, show your love. And we'll bring another episode either on same topic or on any different topic. So would like to conclude here today. Jaspal, once again, a big thank you for being such a wonderful speaker on my podcast today. Thanks a lot.
thank you so much, and thank you everyone. Thank you. See you.
Bye bye.